Welcome back, everybody. Full house again. Great to see you, ITB 2026. Can I hear you as well? Yes. Woo! We are moving into our afternoon. This is marketing as well, right? This is emotions. This is what we talk about. How do we actually bring the passion back in these times of geopolitical crisis back, of course, into our industry? I don't see any problems here at the ITB Convention 2026. So again, it's great to have you here in Berlin with us, but also live joining us virtually. Thank you very much. And now we are actually back in the topic of unlocking Wanderlust. This passion of traveling, being on the road again. How do we do this? Through AI storytelling and with a new travel marketing playbook. This is the topic in the next minutes. And for that, I hand over to Lea because she knows all about our next keynote speaker. Lea, stage is yours.
Wow, wow, wow. Again, a packed room. Thank you so much. I'm repeating myself. You're probably so bored. I'm saying it over again. Thank you for being here. I know you spoiled for choices. You could be anywhere else. There's so much happening. There's 4 stages, 17 tracks, 400 plus speakers, and you chose us. And it's a smart choice. Because I tell you, the next hours here at the ITB Marketing Distribution track is going to be fabulous. We're going to dive into the whole topic of content and how content is driving actually bookings. But we kick it off with, as you see, unlocking Wanderlust. And in a world that is flooded with content that looks similar, more similar every day, because there's so much AI in it, it's a question, what do travelers actually, what content really takes their attention, what really engages them? And we got the best to tell us more about that, because Expedia Group Advertising, they have invested heavily in understanding exactly that moment, combining data, behavioral science, and creative execution to decode what actually captures attention, builds emotion, and drives, very important for us in the travel industry, conversion. So, to share insights from the latest Science of Wanderlust research, what it means for the future of travel marketing here in our industry, please welcome with me back to the ITB Marketing and Distribution track, the Global Vice President of Business Development at Expedia Group Advertising, the fabulous Jennifer Andre.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm really excited to be here back in Berlin. I think this is my 15th ITB, and it's just always such a joy to be here. My name is, as Lea said, I'm Jennifer Andre, and I head up the global business development team for Expedia Group Advertising. And sorry, I just wanted to make sure I'm over-clicking here, guys. Excuse me. There we go. All right, so it's my team, and a lot of them are here today. It is our job to connect our advertising partners with the right traveler at the right time with the right message, regardless of where they are in the path to purchase. And in order for us to do this effectively, we really need to understand travelers' behaviors, their motivations, and their content preferences and consumption patterns, especially in this world of AI. And so we do a lot of research, and our research is telling us that the desire to travel right now is at an all-time high. 50% of consumers say that travel is more important to them now than it was just 5 years ago. And the majority of consumers are actually planning on taking at least one leisure trip in the next 12 months. However, this path to purchase, this travel planning journey, it remains really complex and highly fragmented. On average, travelers are consuming 141 pages of digital travel content in the 45 days prior to booking. That is a lot of content to consume for a traveler, and that is a lot of noise to have to rise above if you're an advertiser. So we really look into what types of messaging, what types of content are driving and motivating travelers to book. So we did some research to really understand the emotions, the psychology that go behind the clicks, so that we could really understand, what's driving this wanderlust. So we set out to find the answers, and sorry, I'm having some trouble with my clicker here. And this is just a short video that gives you a summary of exactly what we did. So thank you. I don't know if Turkey Tourism is in the room, but thank you for your partnership. And I don't know about you, but I'm feeling pretty relaxed and want to go to Turkey. So the Science of Wanderlust, this was a piece of research that we recently rolled out. And we worked with our very own Expedia Group labs who used emotion reading and eye tracking technology. And we combined this with a global survey of about 7,000 respondents. And the goal of the research was really to understand the emotional drivers, content preferences, and particularly how travelers are thinking about AI today in travel content. So what the research told us is really just a simple framework with 6 key elements that we put into an acronym that we call WANDER. So WANDER, the W, that stands for, watchable content, that stands for video. And video is by far more performant than static images. Authenticity, really, really critical in this world of AI fakes. And I mentioned earlier, there's all this content consumption going on. You need to make sure that you have a clear narrative and that your content is designed to grab attention. And then enhance with AI. AI has incredible opportunities to drive efficiencies, to enhance your creative, but there's risks with AI, which I'll go to in a few minutes. And then lastly, make sure that your ads are representative, because representative advertising is very relatable and it builds trust with consumers. So let's start with video. Both short form and long form video are inspiring travel decisions at a much higher rate than static images are. And it's the long form video that actually sparks the best emotions, joy and happiness, all the feels we want to feel when we're planning a trip. In fact, travelers said that feeling motivated, feeling relaxed, and joyful were the 3 emotions that they associated with a good piece of travel content. And so authenticity, now let's talk about that, because in this world of AI, it's really, really important for travelers to feel like there is a real person speaking to them. Transparency, clarity, and confidence, and authenticity were really the 3 tones that build trust with a traveler. And user-generated content, because this is a human speaking to a traveler, is one of the best ways to build trust. Travelers love to see that first-person point of view. They want to scroll through the likes and comments. That raw filming style, it tells them that it's a real person having a real travel experience. And we're all storytellers in this industry. We have great stories to tell, but you need to make sure that your stories are being heard. So you need to open strong, you need to have a clear message, and close with impact, which means repeating your brand so that it's remembered, but also closing with a call to action so you can take that traveler from inspiration to booking in a really frictionless and delightful way. And it goes without saying, you've got to put your destination or your brand on the map, and one of the best ways to do it, according to our research, is make sure you are talking about it right at the very beginning of your narrative. And then design for attention. I mentioned all that consumption that's going on. You need to make sure that you stand out. And the research gave us a really simple recipe for that. First, if you're using video, which you should because it's more performant, 2 to 9 seconds per scene is really the ideal. Anything less than that, you're going to lose people. And then stay on topic, keep it simple, and then repeat, 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 because that helps reinforce recognition again. And then enhance with AI. Do not lead with AI, because travelers, once they suspect that full AI is being used, trust drops pretty dramatically. They're comfortable with AI being used in travel content, but they really want that human touch, that human element. Where they're comfortable with AI is when you're using it to help them in that path to purchase. So things like personalization, that is AI's superpower. Use AI-driven personalized itineraries and recommendations. If AI is helping you find the best price, you're certainly going to welcome it. Also, if it's being used in good customer service. And again, travelers are okay with it being used in content, but it needs to have that human touch. Where they're less comfortable with AI is when it's things like AI, influencers. How can you influence on something if you're not a human being and you haven't actually been there? That people can also spot, AI fakes in articles and in visuals as well. So again, it's just keeping that trust with that traveler. You need to have that authenticity. And then time and time again, our research tells us is that you need to be representative in your advertising because it becomes more relatable and it builds trust. Females want to see other females in ads. If you're a parent, you are going to be looking at family-oriented content. So that leads me to the last point, in that our research has told us that there's no one size fits all for content creation because there's no one single type of traveler. So we really wanted to dig into the different traveler archetypes and understand what their preferences were, what their content consumption patterns were as well, because they vary. And I won't go through all of them just because we don't have time, but you can see here you have 6 clear traveler archetypes, and I think we can all see ourselves in at least one of them. We've been different travelers throughout our lives. I'm a beach lover. I want to see beaches and spas and pools and relaxing tones. On the other side of that, you have an amusement park enthusiast who's not me, but I'm assuming it's a parent and they're short on time and they're spending a lot of time on short-term video and social media. So lots of different ways to reach different types of travelers, and you need to make sure that you are thinking about that in your content creation strategies. All right, I'm running out of time here, but I just wanted to leave you with a quick example of where we put the science into practice. And this is with a long-standing partner of ours, the Bahamas Ministry of Tourism. And they came to us wanting to do a documentary film series that really showcased the island in 2 universal languages in travel, and that's food and music, hence the name Eats and Beats. And so this documentary series actually followed a noted chef and a musician experiencing the day in the life of the Bahamas through music and food. It was long-form video. We had a very clear narrative, and we had beautiful images that really brought the travelers into that experience in an authentic way. And we supported this with a content distribution strategy that had things like inclusion in our Expedia digital magazine, on-site and off-site display, social, YouTube, CTV. This was all designed to reach that traveler wherever they were in the path to purchase, and we paired it with shoppable content all along the way so we could again bring that traveler from getting expired to planning and searching to booking much more quickly. And the results were actually pretty phenomenal. This campaign is actually ongoing, but so far we have driven more than 7 million in gross incremental bookings just on our platform alone. The campaign has delivered more than 17 million impressions. We had 164-to-1 return on ad spend, and we also increased length of stay by 4% during the campaign period, which of course is driving larger economic impact for the destination. We also saw some great impressions from social and a really outstanding click-through rate at around 2%. So this campaign is ongoing, but we've been thrilled with the results so far. And we love to share out our research with the industry, but we also want to make sure that we leave you with some key actionable insights. So first, make sure that you're using video. That is how travelers are consuming content today. Lean into authenticity. It's really important to have that human touch and build trust with the traveler. And then tell your stories clearly and make sure that you're designing your content to stand out in a crowd. And then again, when you're using AI, make sure that you're using it wisely, that you're using it for personalization to help that traveler, because then they will welcome it. But they won't trust it if they feel like it's full AI. And then lastly, remember that you're talking to a very diverse group of travelers. So it's really important that you speak to them in the way they want to be spoken to and that you're showing up where they are. All right, so here's a QR code if you want to download the full study. I highly recommend it. It's a really good double click on the content preferences and consumption patterns as they vary based on geography as well as generation. All right, well, thank you. I think I'm way over time, but please come see us. We are here in droves. We are at Hall 9 in booth 301. We'd love to talk to you more about Expedia Group Advertising and how we can help you reach your right traveler. Thank you.